Hello and good evening. My name is Cynthia, and I am the creator of the Serenity Warriors Network. I want to welcome all the new people who have joined this past week. I'm super excited to have you here, and I hope that you will find some interesting information in this group. And if you've got any questions, feel free to ask. I'm actually going to start answering questions regularly, maybe a couple times a week. Sooner if I have more questions. And tonight I'm going to answer what might seem like the most obvious question for this group, and that is, how can I bring more serenity into my life? For me, serenity has been something that I've been searching for pretty much my entire life up until the last couple of years when I finally figured out how to bring more serenity into my life. I always lived sort of a chaotic, hectic life where I was just rushing from thing to thing, and force and struggle was just a normal part of my everyday routine. And after having two young boys who were diagnosed with ADHD fairly young, I just had a really chaotic life, and I had to learn how to find serenity amidst the chaos. And that's how I got started in business, honestly, was my focus and my drive to find serenity amidst the chaos. So I actually started off by creating jewelry that had a lava bead in it. So I would put essential oils in the lava bead and I would wear it around my neck so that I could breathe in lavender or whatever essential oil I was using that day, but to help me remain calm when my kids were sort of out of control. And so that was where I started. And essential oils and lavender in particular are really, really great for adding some calm to your life. So that was my first foray into it. And then my jewelry was also stamped with a mantra called "What You Seek Is Within," which is the official name of my business. And what you seek is within is really the mantra that I used for years to remind myself that the serenity I was looking for was inside me at all times. So no matter where I was, no matter how chaotic things were at home, I could sit and close my eyes and take a couple of deep breaths and check in or connect into my inner being and find that serenity anytime I wanted to. And I know that sounds a lot like meditation, but it's actually much deeper than that. Meditation can be a long, drawn out process, and there are many, many ways to do it. But for me, it was more of just being able to connect into who I am, feel myself in my body, and actually just become grounded. I think a lot of times because I was so in my head, I wasn't grounded. I wasn't in my body, and I spent a lot of my life like that. And it just makes for an ungrounded life, and it's very hard to live like that for many, many years. It led to adrenal fatigue and burnout for me, and I'm still, in fact, recovering my adrenals right now just from living a life that way. I'm going to be 44 in May, so it's been a lot of years lived that way. So I'm slowly undoing that as I move along. But those two things, the essential oils and sort of like breathing in these calming oils like lavender, or sitting silent in a place where you're not going to be disturbed. And sometimes when my kids were young, that place was the bathroom or the closet. So you can do it anywhere, even if your kids are running around screaming in the living room. I mean, you can find a place. And more recently, I've realized that I have a very strong connection to the earth, and that is one thing that has always brought me serenity, even when I was very, very young. Being in nature has brought me a lot of serenity, and I think the reason is because it is so grounding. It really connects you with the earth, which, again, grounds you. So those are just 3 quick tips on what I've done throughout my life to bring more serenity in. But really, serenity is kind of a personal thing. It's very personal to who you are and what makes you feel grounded. Um, I've also done things like, taking a bath with Epsom salts or something along those lines. You can even put essential oils in your bath. That is also another grounding activity for me, but that might not be grounding for others. So you really have to kind of sit down and take an inventory of what makes you feel like you, what makes you feel grounded, what makes you feel peaceful, and then really just keep a list of those things so that every time you feel really out of sorts, you can come back to them and you know what to do. Because the faster you react, the easier it will be to calm yourself. Because if you let it go all day long and you're just stressed out all day, it'll be really hard to come back to yourself and ground at night. Versus if you first thing in the morning, if you start off in a chaotic situation with your kids, or you're at work and you have a coworker who's yelling at you, or your boss, or some situation that happens first thing in the morning, you can ground immediately and then you can enjoy the rest of your day. So the sooner you handle it, the better for sure. So like I said, having a list that you keep handy and pulling it out and doing some of the things on it when you know you need it, this is the perfect way to go. So anyway, I hope that was helpful to some of you. And if you have any questions about what I just said, feel free to respond to the post. Just put a comment down there and I will respond to you. All right, have a good evening.